What's happening, people? It's your girl Mina. Welcome back to the channel. You already know what it is. Big up to everyone locked in. Apologies, guys, because I'm feeling slightly under the weather. So if my energy seems a bit off, then you know why. It's winter time, and you know this is the time of the year that everybody gets sick. To be honest, I always get sick at least once in the winter period, and it's normally around the December time. So maybe, I don't know, December's on the horizon. But big up to everyone. Be sure to hit the like button and be sure to subscribe. It's freezing. You know what? I don't feel like it's been as cold this week as it was last week. Last week, that winter last week was beating me up in the streets. But yesterday I went out. The weather didn't seem that bad. It just seemed rainy, which is, I always kind of, I don't know what I prefer. Do you not prefer it to be freezing cold? I'm talking about being 0 degrees and it's just like your face is cold when you're outside, your fingers are cold. Or do you rather it's like 10 degrees but it's just raining nonstop? Because I don't know. I don't know which one I prefer, personally. I don't know which one I prefer. But big up to everyone locked in. Be sure to hit the like button and be sure to subscribe. It's another daily dose of Mina. We've got a lot to talk about. In particular, Ruben Amorim does his pre-game press conference ahead of tomorrow's game against Bode Glimt, and he's joined by Bruno Fernandes. Made some interesting points about Marcus Rashford. So we're going to talk about that. He talked about Marcus Rashford as a 9. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk some transfer discussion because it's not even January yet, guys. And I've seen Man United linked to 10 different players. 10 different players, fullbacks and strikers. Right now, I don't think there's a striker on the market that Man United haven't been linked to. And it's not even the transfer window yet. I do anticipate that Man United won't probably sign anyone. I could see maybe a loan, but the players that we're being linked to, I'm not sure how likely a loan is possible. But we're going to talk about all of that. We're going to talk about Manchester City because let's talk about the elephant in the room. What is that now? 6 games winless? 5 games winless? How many games is that? How many games are they winless now? And Pep Guardiola's comments after the game yesterday, it blew my mind because like he made a reference to wanting to harm himself, and that is actually not a joke. So if he said it in a jokey way, which I think he did, I think he tweeted about it saying that he didn't mean it. I don't like that. That's not cool because there's some people out there that actually are struggling with that. And just to kind of say it in a jokey way in a press conference is not cool. However, he did come out after the game with clear scratches and bruises on his face, guys. I don't know if you lot saw, and I'm going to bring up the picture, but my guy had bruises all over his head here, and he literally had a deep like scratch here on his face. Now, there's been speculation about why he did that. He said that he did it to himself. But it also goes back to a comment that Jose Mourinho made in the past. I don't know if you guys remember, but Jose Mourinho said in the past that when you enjoy football, he said when you enjoy football as a manager, you don't lose your hair. And the reason why Pep is bald is because he doesn't enjoy Jose Mourinho said this years ago. He said this years ago. Pep is really weird. Honestly, like he's actually weird. I saw an interview I think he did with Amazon Prime before the game, talking about, oh, we needed to lose those games. It gave me fuel. Like he just likes this idea. Pep Guardiola, I feel like he likes this idea of being this character. I'm not gonna lie though, there's not a lot of managers that have that kind of personality anymore. Once, I feel like Conte, we saw a little glimpse of it with Tuchel. Remember at between Spurs and Chelsea at the Bridge. But when we talk about managers that have that kind of personality, where it's just like Jose Mourinho's in a league of his own. Pep, though, I actually think Pep is so obsessed with football that the nature of losing to him is foreign. I think the nature of losing is foreign to him. And in particular, you look at Bayern Munich, you look at Barcelona, this guy's only been at big clubs. This is his first, I think, real experience of having to do a rebuild, per se, if you want to call this a rebuild. And it's going really badly, if I'm being honest. Their rebuild is not good. I feel like they neglected their squad in the summer with this idea, because they've won 4 in a row, they can go on and win 5 again. That interview of Pep, he looked like he was tied up to a chair. It's just his press conferences just always make me laugh. Like he's a funny... Listen, Pep Guardiola is a funny character, yeah. But after yesterday's game, I thought there's something wrong with him. There's actually something wrong with him. And I think maybe it's the obsession of being the best football manager. I think that's that. And also, can I just say quickly, I was actually going to make a video about it earlier today. this idea that Manchester City are the way that they are right now because of Rodri is probably the most laziest narrative and argument that I've heard. This is not, you can't tell me, I think in the Premier League, Haaland is their top goal scorer, and after that, their next goal scorer got like 4 goals. You cannot tell me it's because of Rodri that is why, you know, Haaland has double-digit goals and the next closest person has 4 or 5 goals. You can't tell me because Rodri's out injured, players like Jack Grealish ain't performing well. Players like Phil Foden are not performing well. Savinho's yet to score, guys. Yet to score. If that was a United winger, it don't matter who we brought him from here, because I know that he didn't come from a big club and he didn't come for a large like fee in the manner of like 70, 80 million. But if United signed any winger and they hadn't scored since end of November, people would be asking questions. Savinho is good, by the way. I'm just saying that they have problems as well as Rodri being out injured. Do you get what I'm saying? The argument that I'm always seeing now, oh, look how much they miss Rodri, but it's lazy. I genuinely feel like that's a lazy narrative, and there's bigger problems. Squad building. Even if you want to talk about the injury stuff. Anyway, we're not here to talk about City. We're not here to talk about City. They're trying to force this Ballon d'Or. Rodri deserves it. Look at this. Have they lost every game since the Ballon d'Or, guys? I think it is, right? Richarlison said that it's not going to be the same again for City for stealing the Ballon d'Or from Vinicius. And would you look at that? He really lived up to his word. He really lived up to his word. The universe is punishing them for Rodri winning the Ballon d'Or. The universe is punishing them. And they still got a whole heap of stuff pending, you know. I know Pep just signed his new contract, 2 years, but they still have the 115 charges decision to come. I did see a report today that said that decision will not come until probably towards the end of the season. And I saw that it kind of suggested there's multiple different avenues that they're looking at, including like a 30-point deduction every year for 5 years, sending them down to League Two, a transfer ban, stripping them off their titles, lots of stuff that they're looking at. They're gonna milk this Rodri is out, so we are losing thing. I'm not gonna lie, if you are Manchester City or you're a club that's been at the top level for that long and you're telling me one player's absence is the cause of your downfall, that's a big problem. But nobody's talking about all the other problems that they have. Nobody's talking about it. But anyways, let's not dwell on Manchester City, on our neighbors too much. Let's not dwell on them too much, and let's actually talk about our wonderful manager, his press conference before the game against Bode Glimt. By the way, guys, just some context on Bode Glimt. If you don't follow the Norwegian league, I follow the women's Norwegian league, so I happen to know this. Their season starts way before ours and it ends way before ours. The women's season has just ended now. I think the men's season is probably not that far away from ending right now because they've played 29 games. So yeah, they've got 1 game left in the Norwegian league. Bode Glimt have won the league. Actually, they haven't won the league. Let me not say that they've won the league. There's 1 more game to play in their league. And they are 1 point off. They are 1 point clear at the top of the table, so they have to win. But to be honest, even if they draw, they'll win on goal difference, unless Brann win. Brann is just behind them. Mold is 4th. Rosenborg is 5th. So there's some familiar teams in this table that I see. But that is also, can I say, one. We're lucky to be playing them now. If we were playing them in like December, they would have had a run of form of not playing any football because their season ends at the end of this month, or I think next week their season ends. December, whoever plays them in December, and I think they've got about, after this game they'll have 2 more Europa League games. That means that they will be playing Europa League football without playing any league football. I don't know if that's more useful for them or more useful for their opponent, but let's not kind of dwell on this idea that just because they are a Norwegian team, you know, they're not a big club, that, you know, United's gonna batter them. Let's not do that. Now, what should we start with? What Ruben Amorim said? Let's start with Ruben Amorim's comments about the structure. He said, when I talk about our structure, you don't know it very well. We can play in different formations. We have to play in different systems because nowadays teams change their dynamic. The power of the structure means you can change formation. Now, he was asked about, and this is probably one answer. There's 2 questions that he was asked for me that really stood out to me. One was about Marcus Rashford, and 2 it was about the lack of goals for Manchester United. He was asked about the lack of goals, and he said, of course, there is a concern in that, but I think we have to improve as a team because we have quality players that can score so many goals. But you can feel it in the second half versus Ipswich. We controlled possession, but we were not dangerous. Maybe because we spent the week trying to work on build-up and the rest was not worked on. We will try and improve as a team. Rasmus, Josh, Xerxes, and Rashford will score more goals. Even Bruno has to score more goals. Ahmad has to be better near the goal. All these guys need to improve and we can score so many goals. And then he said, you're trying to say I need a new striker to score goals, but we need to improve as a team and these players can score more goals, which I kind of understand this idea that he's talking about, how the first week he had to improve in possession. That was the biggest kind of factor for Manchester United. And it's not just improving in possession, it's just a matter of keeping possession. We saw Manchester United, I think they had like 60% possession on the weekend and over 600 passes. But in those passes, over 400 of them came in Manchester United's own half. So clearly Ruben Amorim has kind of begun, his first week at Manchester United was drilling in this idea about being able to keep possession and just keep recycling possession. Now, it's good that he's identified as well that they managed to keep possession but do nothing with it. They didn't really create in front of goal, didn't really create many chances or get any shots off. I think it's the building blocks. I think the first building block is possession. You have to lock the possession in, be able to dominate possession and be able to do something with the possession. And from there, once you're able to pass around and dominate possession, then you're able to get further up the pitch, get into the final third and create chances. For me, there's no point Manchester United trying to, I feel like you think about Erik Ten Hag's system and the chaotic structure of the football, where Man United were not looking to dominate possession, but if anything, they were looking to just get in front of goal as quickly as possible. I don't know if you lot remember, but that's how it felt like with Erik Ten Hag. United would just look to get in front of goal as quickly as possible. And once they do, if the ball gets cleared out, they start at square one again. Whereas Ruben Amorim's approach, it does seem a little bit different. It does kind of seem like, you know what, let's get possession locked in. Let's try and dominate possession, just be able to look after the ball. And once we're able to do that, we can advance the ball a bit more forward, slowly, get obviously eventually to the final third and create something in front of goal. Now, we know, and this is why I actually was, you lot will see it in it. I got a new show with KG on his channel and we're talking about it in the first podcast episode. Manchester United strikers do not share the luxury of patience when it comes to other positions. And that is because I think that position is possibly the biggest, I don't want to say it's the biggest graveyard shift, but for a team that's scoring 60 goals a Premier League campaign, if you are a striker, you have to come in and hit the ground running and put the ball in the back of the net. I feel like if United sign a centre-back, if you sign a right-back, Man United fans are more willing to give them time to grow into the team and adapt to the team. Whereas as a striker, people are expecting you immediately, especially in a team that are not scoring goals, because unfortunately, when you are a striker, you carry that main burden of scoring goals. I speak to my friends who are Arsenal fans all the time and they talk about their frustrations with Jesus, who necessarily might not be a prolific goal scorer. You look at the Premier League and you look at the prolific goal scorers, you look at the people that are top of the goal scoring rankings. Outside of people like maybe Cole Palmer, Mohamed Salah, and Mbeumo, most of them are strikers. You could call Salah a striker. Salah a striker? He's a winger, so I wouldn't really class him as a striker. But most of them are strikers. You see, Dominic Solanke, ability to find the back of the net. You look at Alexander Isak, the ability to find the back of the net. You look at Ollie Watkins, the ability to find the back of the net. Nicholas Jackson, who so many people turn their noses up at. But a lot of the things that he does off the ball is what you would want your number 9 to do. Sometimes I think his finishing might not be great and in front of goal is not always 100%, but a lot of the runs that he makes and the pressing that he does is what you would want your number 9 to do. I'm glad that Ruben Amorim has identified probably the biggest problem, which is obviously Man United not scoring goals, but I don't think it's as easy as just saying Man United don't score goals. The reason why Man United do not score goals is because of other factors. It's because of their inability to maintain possession. It's because of the inability to put the possession in dangerous positions. It's because of the inability of certain players making bad decisions. It's a knock-on effect. And it then impacts Man United's ability to score goals. Like I always said this, and it's the same is applicable to basketball, right? Defense wins you games, which is 100%. In basketball, defense wins you games. In football, it's not always like that. It's not as black and white as that. You can have the best defense and the best goalkeeper. If you are not scoring goals, you are walking away with 1 point every single game. And at that point, it's just pointless. Do you get what I'm saying? We have Anana right now. I think he's got the most clean sheets in the league right now. I'm pretty sure he's got the most clean sheets in the league right now. And even that factor of him having the most clean sheets is still not good enough for the entire team, because that Man United are not winning games. In order for Man United to really benefit from those clean sheets, they need to be putting the ball in the back of the net. And I'm really glad that Ruben Amorim has mentioned that. He mentioned another thing, which was how long would it take players to adapt? And he said it's hard to compare things, and this is a different league. It's harder in Portugal, but I also have more experienced players. They just have to increase confidence. Now, he said something about Marcus Rashford that it really is an eye-opener for the people that think that Marcus Rashford is a number 9. I keep saying it. Marcus Rashford should not be playing number 9 for Manchester United unless there's no other person available. You look at the average position between him and Garnacho on the weekend, and they were both rubbing shoulders in terms of their average position, because they are two players that like to come off the left in that inside forward role. Marcus Rashford, I think he's lost a burst in his step when it comes to runs in behind, but he's still relatively quick enough. Number 1. Number 2, outside of making runs in behind, I don't think Marcus Rashford can play as a 9 because of the all-roundedness that is required to play as a number 9. I watched Kerkez yesterday against Arsenal. Even though that they lost 5-1, there was so many times he had the ball or he was involved with the play. And I thought, this is what a number 9 does. There's one particular moment, I think it was, I can't remember. He might have won a free kick there or not. I can't remember. But he had his back to goal. Gabriel coming in, towards behind him. And he's trying to just spin the centre-back and take a shot on goal, which is what a lot of number 9s do. When I compare that to what Marcus Rashford might do in that position, it's not remotely the same. And that's no criticism to Marcus Rashford as a player. I just don't think it's his strong suit. On the weekend, there was a few passages of play, one in particular that I remember of Diogo Dalot coming into his right foot, looking at his option, and instead of Marcus Rashford making the decision to maybe peel off the defender or make in the run into the space between the centre-back and the fullback, he just stood there. Dalot had no choice of passing to give the ball to anyone, and I think the possession was actually wasted at that point. Now, by saying that, it kind of alludes to what Ruben Amorim suggested in the press conference today, where he said that, talking about Marcus Rashford, he said that position is not the best one for him. He was fighting with 2 giants versus Ipswich, which is funny because they were not playing with a back 4. They were playing with a back 3. So really, he should have been fighting with 1 centre-back. However, he found himself fighting 2 centre-backs each time. But anyways, Amorim went on to say, we will try to find the right solution for him, but he has to be the Marcus to return to that form. He has to be the first one to want it. Now, key words. We will try to find the right solution for him. Ruben Amorim. Now, I'm just reading between the lines, and maybe I'm trying to draw my own conclusion, but it looks like, and it sounds like, Ruben Amorim has already realized from one match that Marcus Rashford cannot play as a number 9. Now, as much as I have criticisms for Højlund, I think there's things that Højlund can do as a number 9 more so than Marcus Rashford can do. But equally with saying that, I've always said it, Marcus Rashford is not a 9. If you want him in his best position, you play him as an inside forward coming off the left-hand side. Now, for a player who's not in form right now, it's difficult because the manager has to make a decision. Do you try player consistently, which we saw Ten Hag do last season? We saw him do it with Bruno. We saw him do it with Rashford. Do you play a player consistently with the hopes of playing them into form? Or do you bench them with the hopes of allowing them to find their form coming off the bench? Equally, by doing that, you might impact their confidence. That is the, I think, conundrum for the manager. But one thing that I've noticed now is that Amorim has realized that it is not his strong position. It's not the best one for him. But then you look at that front 3, you look at the 2 10s, You look at the striker and you think Man United have about 6-7 players for about 3 positions, maybe even more than that. I'd even say maybe 8 players for 3 positions. Marcus Rashford might not get that luxury of the PR that he has behind him, being a Manchester born and bred, United born and bred, been through with the club for over 10 years in the senior team. I think he's like top 7 for goals scored for Manchester United. He's 10 off from like Ruud van Nistelrooy, I think, or he's 15 off, I think, from Ruud van Nistelrooy, and 10 off of Cristiano Ronaldo to get into that top 5 of all most goals scored in all competitions. Marcus Rashford cannot rely on that anymore to find his way into the first team. It's as simple as that. Or to find himself actually into the starting lineup. He does not have that luxury anymore. Ruben Amorim, it took him 65 minutes to identify that Marcus Rashford cannot play as a 9, or it's not his strong suit. Now, by saying we will try to find the right solution for him, cash money, guys. I don't know if you guys saw, but already links to PSG has come out. And I know, I feel like the links to PSG are not always concrete links. It always tends to come out when Marcus Rashford is not in good form, or when he's been dropped, or maybe his team, his camp are putting stories out. But one thing for me that is clear is that Marcus Rashford should not be starting as a number 9 for Manchester United. Like I said, unless there is nobody else to play in that position, he should not be starting as a number 9. Marcus Rashford needs a fresh start somewhere else. I kind of agree with that. I like Marcus Rashford as a player. You guys know that I like him as a player, but I do feel that feeling sometimes as well, that maybe it might be best for him to have a fresh start somewhere else. Because also, I feel like, again, I don't know if you lot agree with me, but I feel like when players peak at a younger age, i.e. they burst on the scene at a younger age, 27 as a footballer is when you're meant to be in the peak of your ability, right? But I don't feel like Rashford is in his peak. And maybe it's because he peaked too early. And that tends to happen. He's got 10 years of football, first team football experience for Manchester United under his belt. Not many players get that opportunity to be part of the first team from the age of 17. So I do feel like maybe he peaked. Maybe we've seen the peak of him in, when he was 24, 23. And by the time he's gotten to the age of 27, which when I look at the age of 27 in football terms, I think that is your time of your peak. That is the era of your peak. 27 to about 30, 31 is when people tend to start to regress. But I think it might be the opposite for Marcus Rashford. And it's very unfortunate because you look at him now and, you see his recovery pace is not as good as it used to be. His recovery pace is not as good as it used to be. And again, that points to me that's someone that is starting to regress, i.e. they've passed their peak and they're coming back down all over again. But it's interesting that Ruben Amorim has identified this problem already. One player that's back in training, which is actually good, I'm actually happy to see him back, is Harry Maguire. I don't want Ahmad to play right wing back, right? I don't mind Mazraoui playing right wing back, which means De Ligt would have to play right centre back, maybe Maguire central centre back. If Maguire plays, which means that Mazraoui plays right wing back and Ahmad can play in the 10, I'm all for it. But I do also think that because Manchester United are still in that finding themselves phase under Ruben Amorim, I don't think they're immediately going to play with a high line. I don't think the high line will be immediate, which means for the coming months, Harry Maguire could be utilised. For me, also, the more players that are available, the better. It's as simple as that. Ruben Amorim needs a full squad of players available to him in order to figure out who works for the system and who doesn't. Now, it's probably likely Harry Maguire will leave in the summer. I think he's a free agent this summer with a 1-year extension. But if United do pick up his extension, there's no guarantee that they'll sell him in the summer. So I could actually see him leaving potentially on a free. But it's nice to see him back and fit and available. In terms of the Bode Glimt game tomorrow, I will do a preview stream for that probably. Should I do that tomorrow? Yeah, I'll probably do it tomorrow. Yeah, I'll probably do a stream tomorrow for preview. But just on the topic of transfers, because again, in the last 24, 48 hours, guys, United have been linked to about 8, 9 players. Strikers, Man United have been linked to about 5 to 6 different strikers, which I think will be it will happen because United are not scoring goals. So when you're not scoring goals, you will be linked to strikers. But this name is the name that we've seen come up the most. Now, other names are starting to pop up, which I'm actually all supportive of it. There's one name that's popped up, which I'm very curious to see if United move for him. Now, not just Man United are linked to him, Liverpool are linked to him as well, but Omar Marmoush at Frankfurt, baller. If you guys watch him, yeah, he might not be the Harry Kane-esque type of striker or Lewandowski, but he can strike the ball very well. He's got good hold-up play, good center forward play, can strike a free kick. When was the last time we had someone that could actually put the free kicks into the back of the net? Now, the only thing is that Frankfurt are probably going to look to do what they did with Kolo Muani, i.e. cash in. Yeah. And I've seen a price tag of about 45 million for him, which I think is very cheap. I think that's cheap for what strikers tend to go for. I don't think it's only United that will look for him. I think Liverpool are definitely linked to him. But let me actually double check. I want to actually double check this season because he's got double-digit goals and assists. He's got 14 goals. Yeah, he's got 14 goals and 10 assists in 17 games in all competitions. In the Bundesliga, he's got 18 goal contributions in 11 games, including 2 goals and an assist against Bayern Munich in that 3-3 draw last month. He also got a goal against Bayer Leverkusen, and he's doing all right. He's doing all right in Europa League. He's got about 2 goals. Boniface, we need him right now. I can make all the jokes. Boniface is another player that we've been linked to as well. Man like Victor Boniface is another one that we've been linked to. And we've also been linked to. I don't know what's going on, man. You Nigerians, why is United being linked to so many Nigerians all of a sudden, man? But we've been linked to Victor Osimhen. Now, of course, we already know. I think the Victor Osimhen situation is probably the most likely one that's going to end up in a sell in the summer. Napoli are going to sell him. He's balling out right now at Galatasaray. Victor Osimhen reminds me, he's like an unconventional looking striker, if you know what I mean. Like, good at striking the ball, good in the air, good in the box, in the 6-yard box, in the opposition box. He's a monster, right? But even when he's dribbling and he's got the ball at his feet, he's doing it well, but he shouldn't, because of his what's the word, his stature and his physique. He shouldn't be able to dribble in the manner that he's able to do it. And I really like Victor Osimhen, guys. If you've been watching the channel for the last year since I started the channel, you will know that I've been saying United should go for Victor Osimhen for ages. But I also think, I think a team like Chelsea would suit him a little bit more. I do see Chelsea going back for him. I think he was meant to go to Chelsea if it wasn't for the greed of his agent. But I also think the year that he won the title with Napoli, that is the year that he should have left. I think he stayed a year too long. Now, obviously, the Turkish league is not verbatim like the Italian league or the Premier League, but this idea that people like to think that because you've played in Turkey, you can't play at top level football, European football, etc., etc. That's a lie. Prime example is Flip. What's the fullback at Brighton that just came from Turkish league called? I forgot his name. His name's just completely gone out of my head. Victor reminds me of Wan-Bissaka. He looks broke fit. Boniface is very unconventional as well. Kadioglu, yeah, there you go. Thank you guys. Kadioglu. I like Victor Boniface, but I'm not gonna lie, yeah, Victor Boniface is not my favorite player. Victor Boniface is not my favorite player at Bayer Leverkusen. This season, in terms of this season, he's not having the best of seasons. I mean, it is a good season. 6 goals in the league out of 10 games. That is still good. But in terms of the opposition or the other strikers that Man United are linked to, guys, the names that I've seen us linked to, and this is coming from Florian Plettenberg. Let me double check exactly who the source is coming from. It's coming from Florian Plettenberg. Let me stop mispronouncing his name. But Manchester United have been apparently are looking at 4 particular strikers, which includes Omar Marmoush. It includes Kolo Muani, this flipping fraud, Victor Boniface, and Victor Osimhen. 2 Victors, a Kolo, and an Omar. Talk about diversity right there and there. But these are all different type of strikers. That is what I don't understand. Personally, Kolo Muani, I wouldn't want United to sign him. And that's just my personal preference. I don't know if you lot remember, but United were actually linked to him the summer that we brought Rasmus Højlund. Manchester United even met with him in their London offices. Erik ten Hag met with him and then chose to okay the signing of Højlund instead. He obviously ended up going to PSG for about 70 million, but Frankfurt pulled off the heist of the year to get 70 million for him. Because since then, his PR has not been good, especially that one World Cup miss. If you don't remember the World Cup final, he had the world in his hands, literally and figuratively, and could have won it for France, but he didn't. He's not even been that good at PSG. If you lot watch PSG, even last season, I remember watching him last season at PSG when Kylian Mbappe was there. I was like, how is this guy still? How is he able? I was like, firstly, how is he able to be at PSG and to be their starting striker? He was starting ahead of Gonzalo Ramos as well at the time. But equally with saying that, let's actually let me look at his stats. I don't like to solely go off of stats, of course, you lot know that, but let's actually check his stats whilst he's been at PSG. It's not looking good. That's all I'm saying. It's not looking good. At PSG, he's got how are we linked to this guy? Honestly, how are we linked? United are already struggling to score, and you guys want us to sign a guy that's got 11 goals in 53 appearances for PSG. That's in all competitions, by the way, all competitions. Just for some context, guys, I'll give you lot some context, yeah? Last season, in all competitions, he scored 9 goals in 40 appearances. I swear to you, that's the same numbers that Rasmus Højlund had at Atalanta before we brought him. He had like 7 goals. Rasmus Højlund scored more goals than him last season than Kolo Muani, sorry. So I don't know why this name is popping up. Of course, it's probably just paper talk. But if Man United are serious about signing a striker, and there has been reports that suggest that PSG are open to letting him go on loan this January, United should not be looking at a striker like Kolo Muani. Not at all. Out of the 4 that I've named, guys, Omar Marmoush, Kolo Muani, Victor Boniface, and Victor Osimhen. Who would you want? Or Gyökeres. Where's Gyökeres? Because that's just the name that I think is, as long as Ruben Amorim is Manchester United manager, I think that is going to be a name that sticks around. But let me know, out of those 5 strikers, maybe just rank 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 being the one that you want, 5 being the one that you don't want. And make sure you hit the like button, or you just make sure you hit the like button if you've just come through. The likes and the views are not adding up, guys. So don't be a disgrace. You know the rules. You come in, you wipe your feet, you say hi to everyone in the chat, and you hit the like button. If you want to support the channel, you can by joining the membership club, aka the Minions Gang. You get your badges, you get your emojis, you get your custom member content, and of course you get to support the growth of the channel, the ever-growing channel, less than 100 away from 8k. So hopefully we get there soon, and the road to 10k before my birthday is well and truly on. If you want to support the channel in alternative ways outside of liking, subscribing, joining the membership club, you can by sending in super chats with your comments, with your questions, with your thoughts, or just to show some love. Everybody is saying Osimhen. OJ says Osimhen or Oh My Moosh. That is a funny name. That's a joke's name. Gyökeres, Osimhen would be cool. Osimhen and Gyökeres. I don't think it will be both. I think it will be one out of all the strikers. Gyökeres, Osimhen, Marmoush, Boniface, Kolo Muani, Osimhen, Oh My Moosh, Boniface, Kolo. I think for me it's easy. Gyökeres for me. If Man United are genuinely linked to him, he's top of my ratings for that. This season alone, yeah. this season alone, let me see, I just want to double check. Although people like to say not to go off of last season, he scored 43 goals and 15 assists in 50 games. That is ridiculous. That is ridiculous. This season so far in just club football, because I know people like to include international football, and he's got more goals, obviously, if you count the goals he scored for Sweden so far this season. But just this season, guys, he's got 5 goals in 5 Champions League games. Of course, one of them being a hat-trick against City. But he's got 24 goals and 4 assists in 20 games, as well as a 17 goal contribution in 11 league games. Now, there's no guarantee that if you can do it in the Portuguese league, you can do it here. I mean, look at Darwin Núñez, and his inability maybe, or his slowness to adapt to the league after joining Liverpool from Benfica. The only thing for me with Gyökeres is that I feel like if United did sign him, they're signing him in his peak, right? But I'm also for that because we've tried, generally speaking, I feel like United have tried the route of young strikers, but we do not have the patience to wait for them to potentially become something good. Let's be honest, we do not have that patience. So I would not be against Man United going out and signing a Victor Osimhen, a Gyökeres, whoever it is, if they are 25, 26, because you get the best part of 3-4 years out of them and then back again to the drawing board to find a new striker 5 years later. But I just think with the goals or the struggle for goals with Manchester United, you need to go and sign a booter right now. What happened to Ramos for Portugal? He had a great Euros and never heard anything since. He made the worst mistake of joining PSG. I don't know why he joined PSG to sit second. He came on as a sub yesterday against Bayern Munich. I don't know if you saw, but he's not really a star at PSG. Evan Ferguson doesn't make sense, right? Because he's available on loan in a few weeks. Too young. I've seen Evan Ferguson is a name. I haven't seen United being linked to him, but I did see reports of him being available on loan. I did see that. Whether United go and sign him on loan, I don't know. What's the likelihood of, do you guys think, United signing someone on loan in January? Because I feel like United already have a big squad. They already have a big squad. What's the likelihood of anybody leaving in January? I don't see anyone. Maybe Anthony. Maybe Anthony might leave. But I don't know. Mina, what do you want for your birthday? I just want to be happy. I just want to be happy. I want to get to 10k subs for my birthday. That's what I want. Brighton should have cashed out on Evan after that one season because now he's just pants. Yeah, injuries effed him up as well. And I was saying, like, I would like the idea of the lap. It goes against what I said. She wants a new chair. The idea of the lap goes against what I said in terms of Man United buying young strikers. But I think Delap will be the next number 9 for England. Like, I see some traits in him that I don't think is far off of what Harry Kane was at that age. People might think I'm crazy for that. We don't need a young striker again, even if it's loan. I feel like United don't need young prodigies. And I know that Jim Ratcliffe said when he took over United, I don't want to sign the next Mbappe. I want to find the next No, sign the next sign Mbappe. Like, I don't know. Do you not agree with me on that? Do you guys want United to sign the next big thing, or do you want United to sign the big thing at the time? Because it does. I feel like with United, if you are signing the next big thing, you might not necessarily. The curse of United, you might not get that. You might get a player that ends up, not performing well, maybe having injury issues, not maybe adapting well. And then also you look at the flip side and you think, well, if you sign the biggest thing in football, it doesn't necessarily mean that it will work out. But I think you sign the best in those positions. Like, this idea that you have to sign young talents and invest in them, and you pay 40 million for a young talent because that shows that you believe in the potential that they can become. I don't always agree with it. I think look at Real Madrid, for example. They do both. Real Madrid signed the best players, and they also signed the best young players up and coming. They missed out on, who was it? I think it was Neymar years ago, right? From Santos. They missed out on him. And since then, They refuse to miss out on any other young talent up and coming. Endrick, 15 years old. Yep, they said we're going to sign him. They saw Arda Güler balling out in Turkey and said, yep, we're going to sign him. Both of them sitting on the bench. I think Arda Güler played on the weekend, but both of them sitting on the bench. They brought Vinicius, again, another young talent, but he obviously developed. They saw Mbappe, built one of the best players in football at that time. We're going to sign him. We're going to sign him. Camavinga and Tchouaméni, two young upcoming talents, yeah? I would say Tchouaméni was, he was one of the, I want to say he had the biggest prospect in terms of that position in Europe for that age. They went and brought both of them. Real Madrid's recruitment strategy is different to Chelsea. Chelsea just signed, recently, in the last couple transfer windows, I just felt like they were signing anyone and everyone. Anyone that's a young kid that's got some hype around them, they were signing them. Maybe Chelsea are set to kind of change their transfer approach, but I think Manchester United should take their inspiration when it comes to transfer strategy from teams like Real Madrid, because Real Madrid is behaving like a big club. They're literally linked to signing Alphonso Davies and Trent and Saliba. I wouldn't be shocked if they end up signing all three of them in the summer. I would not be shocked one bit. I do kind of stand by my idea that the Mbappe signing just never made sense. But I also speak to people that I know who are Real Madrid fans, and they do kind of, some people share that same sentiment. They share that same sentiment. Let's say Osimhen is your starting experience 9. Højlund ain't a bad option off the bench. 2 different options. However, our club decided to make Højlund the starting 9. He has the 9 shirt. If United was to sign Victor Osimhen, yeah, let me find his picture. If Manchester United were to sign Victor Osimhen, I will go to Carrington myself and take the number 9 shirt off Højlund. Højlund needs to read the room. And this is obviously hypothetical, right? It's all hypotheticals. But Højlund needs to read the room. The number 9, I think, yeah. You know what's so funny, guys? I actually think with shirt numbers, I feel like shirt numbers have lost their meaning and their value. I don't think you would get the number 9 shirt unless you were a proven number 9. But now, you just give number 9 to anyone. Today, they might sign, Man United can sign me today. They might just give me the number 9 shirt. And I can't even score goals. I feel like shirt numbers, that's why I tell people, don't get hung up on this number Mason Mount wearing 7 thing. Don't get hung up on it, because football shirts numbers have lost their meaning. The same way sometimes I would say positions have lost their meaning because of this free fluid football that Pep Guardiola has decided to flipping infiltrate the football industry with. Shirt numbers, I can say, yeah, Højlund wears the number 9, but really, what does the number 9 mean? It don't really mean nothing anymore. In football, because they just be giving number 9 to anyone. They be giving the 7 to anyone. They be giving the 11 to anybody. Højlund can have 99. To be honest, if I was a footballer, I wouldn't wear traditional numbers. If I was a footballer, guys, I would not be wearing traditional numbers. We need a balance. We can't just be signing the next big thing. We need to win now. We don't have time to wait for the next big thing to be big. 100%. But just on this point from OJ, he's saying that we don't have time to wait. Man United have been waiting for the best part of 10 years, guys. Are you telling me another year or two you guys are not willing to wait another year of developmental football, if you want to call it that? And I'm saying another year, i.e. calendar year, not another season after this. I'm saying another calendar. So this time next year, are you guys not willing to wait? Do you feel like United need to win now? Because I feel like winning now, for me, I don't care about FA Cup. I don't care about I want to win the Champions League and the Premier League. Yeah, that's what I want to win. Let me put it like this, yeah. Obviously, I'm sure a lot of you guys probably grew up in the era of Sir Alex Ferguson and United winning doubles and trebles and, consecutive Premier League titles, etc. My nephews are all Manchester United fans, yeah. 2 of my nephews are Manchester United fans, but they're Manchester United fans because of me and because of some of my siblings. They're Man United fans. I buy them Man United shirts all the time, try to take them to games when I can. They've never seen Man United win a Premier League or a Champions League because they were born 2010 onwards. So when Man United last won the Premier League, my nephew was 2 or 3. So he won't really remember it. So the best part of the last 6-7 years, all they know is United being crap. United being crap. So this idea of United need to win now, my point is that we've we've not been winning the big guns, the big titles for 10 plus years. I would much rather, and this is why what Amorim said with on the weekend kind of resonated with me a little bit when he said Manchester United, it's either we kind of implement our style now and it's going to hurt a little bit. We're going to struggle a little bit, but this time next year we will be in a better place. And I'm willing to invest in that idea. I'm really, really willing to invest in that idea because I cannot I don't know how you lot feel, but I physically cannot handle another year of being in the same position. I cannot do that. With the talent we're buying and waiting for, we're screwed, Mina. Imagine waiting for Højlund. I'd be dead. Okay, let me ask you a lot of question, right? United's transfer windows under Erik ten Hag. Yeah, Erik ten Hag had 3 transfer windows, right? The first one, second one, and then this one this summer. The big players that United brought, the big kind of marquee transfers, the expensive transfers that United brought in those windows, would you guys be against if this Manchester United new regime just said, you know what, rip it all up, they're not good enough? Oh, Anthony, yeah, rip it up. Rasmus Højlund, nah. I think Mount might be the only player that's safe because of the way that Amorim is talking about him. He's really going to utilize him if he can stay fit. But do you think, would you be against that idea of rip it all up and start again? Because I look at a lot of the players that Amorim has inherited, yeah, especially the attacking players. And I think I feel sorry for Amorim. I'm so sorry, bro. I wish you inherited the team that Ten Hag inherited, because that might have been attacking wise, might have been a better team than what you've inherited now. You've inherited a team that can't score more than 60 goals in a Premier League campaign. Our top goal scorer in the league has like 4 goals or 3 goals, I think. Our top scorer in the entire season had they even hit double digits yet? I don't even know if they've hit double digits yet. So taking all of that into consideration, the big marquee names that Manchester United brought in the last couple of windows with the big fee, I wouldn't be mad if today Barada turns around and says, rip it all up, this is not working, let's start all over from scratch. Because some of the players, Man United might have to. They might have to be like, you know what, we have to take an L on this. Joshua Zirkzee, I think, by the way, is going down that path of it's not going to work. We might just have to, you know when you identify something's not going to work early and you're like, all right, let's just cut ties with it now. I think Joshua Zirkzee might go down that path. I believe there's a player in Zirkzee, but I always stand on the side that he's a luxury player. He's a player where every team doesn't need a player like Zirkzee, number one. Number two, a team like Manchester United, whose problems are so deep-rooted, he is not someone that can come in and solve part of the problem. He's a luxury player, in my opinion. He's the cherry on top of the cake to make everything look nice. He's the gloss over the paint to make everything look nice, where, you want a player that's not your traditional number 9, get a Joshua Zirkzee. But when United have a problem where they can't score goals, Joshua Zirkzee is not going to answer that. And I think a lot of us knew that from the summer. Højlund is to your nephews what young CR7 was for you, Mina. Not in the slightest. That's actually kind of offensive. That's actually quite offensive. I'm actually quite offended by that. And just quickly, in terms of fullbacks that Manchester United are monitoring, Theo Hernandez. Listen, if Man United go to AC Milan, 1, Theo Hernandez, 2, Reinders. That's the 2 players that, like, I wouldn't even say Theo Hernandez is a must. Theo Hernandez is not even a must for me. If Manchester United go to Milan and sign a player from Milan, sign Reinders. Theo Hernandez is one that Manchester United are keeping an eye on. Another one is, of course, we know is Alphonso Davies. And last but not least, Milos Kerkez. That's the 3 left wing backs that Manchester United are looking at. I do kind of imagine United going all guns blazing for Alphonso Davies, but I can imagine him asking for a nice little paycheck, which is rightfully so. Out of the 3 of them, I've already said my preference would be Alphonso Davies, but I also wouldn't mind Robinson from Fulham, guys. I don't know why no team is looking at Robinson. I even like Davis at Ipswich. He's pretty good as well. he's actually pretty good as well. And please don't say, oh my God, you're hyping up a player from Ipswich. Where did Liverpool buy Robertson from? I would love DeMarco. I would love DeMarco too. I think he's one of the best players in Serie A. But I don't see Napoli selling him. I like Grimaldo as well, but he's on the older side of the spectrum. I like Frimpong as well, but I don't see United signing a right wing back. But in terms of, maybe I should do a video on what fullbacks, wing backs, left wing backs particularly are available on the market. Because I know that Real Madrid are obviously interested in Alphonso Davies. That's, and I don't get why they're interested, by the way, in Alphonso Davies when they just gave Ferland Mendy a new contract. I don't know. But I don't know. Theo Hernandez, how likely do you think United will, for me, the players that United are being linked to, the Theo Hernandez's, the Alphonso Davies's, United have to finish in Champions League. United have to finish in Champions League to sign these players. They have to. But I have a question for you guys, because I always have this debate with Nuruddin. And shout out to Nuruddin. Do you guys care if United win Europa League or not? Because I'm under the notion that United need to be in Champions League football to get the best players in football right now. I don't think United are what they were in 2016 when they weren't in Champions League football, but they were able to sign people like Pogba, Ibrahimovic, etc., etc. I don't think United find themselves in the luxury of that position anymore. I wouldn't want United to win the Europa League. I would want them to. But Nuruddin, whenever we have this conversation, he says that we should crash out of the Europa League, and Amorim needs as much time on the training pitch, so he would prefer Man United to play one game a week, because that means United would have more time on the training field, number one. Number two, the idea of playing Champions League football doesn't really entice him because United are crap. So that just means we'll play in Champions League just to crash out, which is different now, because in the table format, I think it's a lot more different. It's more for sponsorships. UCL football brings more money. Yeah, exactly. I don't know if you guys saw, but Manchester United flipping disgraces, by the way, because how the hell have they made the standard tickets the same price for everybody, i.e. under 16s, over 65s, everyone is now £66. That's crazy. You know that, guys. I don't think there's enough outrage about it. Because if you got a 3-year-old or a 5-year-old or a 7-year-old and you take them to games with you, you're now spending the same amount on a ticket for your kid that you are for yourself. I don't know. It's ridiculous to me. It's really ridiculous to me. But I do think Man United need to win Europa League at the least, if they're not going to get in top 4. Like, I know that it's Europa League tomorrow. Let me actually see, what's the Europa League table saying? The Europa League table, we are 5th. Man United are 15th in the Europa League, and Bodo Glimt are 12th. There's only one team currently, by the way, unbeaten in. There's only one team unbeaten in Europa League, which is Lazio. I don't know. I feel like United need to win it. I feel like United need to win it, because equally with the names United are being linked to, United pull ain't it by itself anymore. The days of having Jose Mourinho, the Jose pull was real. I don't know how real the Amorim pull is. That's just my opinion. I don't know how serious the Amorim pool is. We're undefeated in Europa League. How could I forget that? That we're undefeated? But guys, when I'm saying who's unbeaten, I'm looking at who's won all 4 games. We are unbeaten. Athletic Club are unbeaten. Anderlecht are unbeaten. Frankfurt are unbeaten. Galatasaray unbeaten. Ajax unbeaten. Lazio unbeaten. Who else? Victoria Pleasant is unbeaten. So there's quite a lot of people unbeaten in Europa League. But I hope you lot know when I'm saying unbeaten, I mean people who have won all 4 games, which is not Manchester United. because we've just about won one game in Europa League. We've just about won one game. But big up to everyone. Listen, guys, be sure to hit the like button and be sure to subscribe if you've just come through. We will be back, inshallah, tomorrow, God willing, with the daily dose of Mina and preview ahead of Bodo Glimt game tomorrow. Obviously, we'll have 5 and 5 after the game, and we'll probably have. Now, we probably won't have a stream after the game. We'll have a video after the game on Friday, back with episode, I think, 4 of the Lowdown with Saeed, which we will have, the game to talk about. We'll preview the weekend game. I just realized we're playing Arsenal next week. Who should I get on the channel, guys, for a preview stream? What Arsenal fan should I get on the channel for a preview stream? The last time I did a preview video, who did I have? Last season, I had Sharky. So let me know if there's any Arsenal creators that you think that I should have for next week for the Arsenal-Manchester United preview video. Get a non-deluded Arsenal fan. There's lots of them. I know a lot of them. But we only see, the hot takes that on the internet, because you know what, in football, guys, in the world of content, that's what gets you clicks. Insightful things don't always necessarily get you clicks. So you can spend a whole 2 hours editing a video that is the most insightful video, but if it's not got a clickbait title and you're not saying some wild hot takes, it won't get the clicks. But big up to everyone. Listen, be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. You don't need to preview our game, Mina. I don't think I need to preview the Everton game, but we'll have obviously build up over the weekend as well for that. And obviously we will have 5 and 5 after that and a stream as well after that, man. Come on. I'm going to be respectful to Everton. Of course, I'm going to be respectful to everyone. Big up to everyone. Like I said, be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. Enjoy the evening of UCL football, guys. And I will be back tomorrow. I'm out. Have a great one. Peace.